Hey guys, I'm Lazor, otherwise known as Matt, and I'm following up from the last video that I did on this channel, which was about this deck and about a blue-black deck that I'll be using for the league. I decided I'm going to be using this one out of the two, and I made some improvements based on what you guys had said, and I think it works a little bit better now. I still haven't finished making it yet, but I'm going back for another dose of intelligence from you guys, because you guys know what you're talking about. It's true. You're really useful when making decks and stuff. I like bouncing off an audience and seeing what their opinions of it are. So this is what it's like at the moment. As it stands on the point system, if you don't know what the point system is that we're doing for this tournament thing, or this league as they refer to it as, but it's basically a tournament, is 80 points per deck maximum, and it doesn't include sideboard. And then it's 1 point for commons, 2 points for uncommons, 3 points for rares, and 5 points for mythics and planeswalkers. And legendaries, even though you can get some rare legendaries. That was one of the conflicts, but I think you just settle for rares in that kind of situation. So, this is the deck so far. It's sitting at 65 points, I think. I can't do maths very well, but I totaled up at 65, I believe, with 9 rares. Not that many uncommons, and yeah, a few commons in there as well. There you go. I guess we'll just go through it slowly, like usual. If you guys think you can fit any more cards in here that need to be in here, that you think would work, like Vorapede or other stuff, then suggest it and what you would take out for that. Or if you want to replace something in the sideboard, then definitely go for that. But we'll get to the sideboard after the main 60. So we'll start with Hex Parasite. Okay, it's a 1-cost 1/1 guy. It's a rare, which is going to cost me 3 points. So running 4 of these is pretty. You have to be pretty good, right? Its ability is why I'm using it. Its ability allows me to do some infinite combos in this deck. Allows me to get really, really far ahead of my opponent. So I get to remove X counters from target permanent, where I pay 1 and X. So most of the time it's usually going to be 1 and 1. So it's usually going to cost me 2 mana most of the time, unless I'm removing it from planeswalkers, which I'm guessing someone's going to bring some planeswalkers to this league event because they will destroy everything. And having 4 Hex Parasites in the arsenal will definitely do work against them. So, what he can do though, about the infinite combos, is I can sacrifice my Undying creatures, and then I can remove the counters from them to make them have Undying again. That's what I can do, which allows them just to keep attacking, just keep getting solid damage through from attacking with like 2 or 3, or from attacking with more than he has to block. Then they come back and I can just remove all the counters from them, attack again next turn, or whatever, and it can set off more chains of events if creatures are dying and stuff like that. Not only that, you can pay the 1 with life, so you can just pay with X. It doesn't mean I have to have a swamp out. I could be forest fucked and still be able to pay its ability, which is pretty good. But that's Hex Parasite. Stronger Root guy's been over him before. He is a solid staying in this deck, I'm almost certain. 2-cost, 2/1 haste Undying. He's really good. He gets in for so much damage because your opponent just doesn't want to kill him, because then he comes back and then he's even more of a pain to deal with. He gets at least 8 damage through every time I played him, unless I'm against like an exile deck where they can exile my guy with like Oblivion Ring. He tends to get 8 damage through, and even then he still gets like 6 damage through. He's a really fucking awesome card. He does so much work. Young Wolf. This is another one of those cards that just gets in there, doesn't get in there for as much damage as the Stronger Root guys, but it still gets a lot. I mean, a 1-cost Undying creature is really good, and it's a 1/1 anyway, so they still don't want to kill it, because the thing is with Undying, if you kill it, it comes back stronger, which is really, really off-putting, so they tend to let the damage through, even though if they had just killed it once, they'd probably take less damage over time. It's weird. Because sometimes they'll have a 3/3 on the field and still don't want to block and kill it in case you get a 2/2 out of it. They just don't want to do that and just let it through. Like the lone, I don't know, it's that 1/1 white creature that when it dies you put a 1/1 spirit token in where it was. People don't kill that, and the thing is you might as well kill it, because you're going to have to kill it eventually anyway, and you're just letting the damage through. So that's my policy on them. Blood Artist. He's an incentive for my opponent to kill my creatures, allows me to kill my creatures and I have a little bit of an extra. If any creature dies, I can have my opponent lose a life, and I can gain a life. It's pretty good, pretty solid. I'm thinking about having 4 in the deck instead, but I think 2 is fine for now. Bloodflow Connoisseur, someone suggested this, and I agree, it fits the mana curve really well. You sacrifice a creature and you put a +1/+1 counter on it. This is where I can do like this is where Hex Parasite comes into play, quite hefty amount, because I can sacrifice an Undying creature, remove the counter from the Undying creature and sacrifice it again, and I can repeat that process as much as I need to where Bloodflow Connoisseur is a big threat. It's a decent card, and not only that, it does have combat tricks because you can sacrifice it at any time, so you can attack and they can block, and let's say it would be an even trade, you can sacrifice another creature and this guy would live. So yeah, it's really good. Plus it's permanent counters. Permanent counters are always a good thing. Feed the Pack. At the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice a non-token creature. If you do, put X 2/2 wolf creature tokens, where X is the sacrifice creature's toughness. This is the end game. This is 6, and this is usually going to be turn 6. If I get this far, then I'm usually going to have some creatures on the field where I can sacrifice them, and Feed the Pack is going to be doing that. It's going to be putting me really far ahead most of the time. Also it says may, so I mean I don't have to sacrifice, which is great. But if I have a Bloodflow Connoisseur and I'm struggling to get through with it because it doesn't have trample and it's like a 6/6 or a 7/7, I can sacrifice it to Feed the Pack, which would get me 6 or 7 2/2 wolf tokens, which would double my which would make the board a lot better in my favor. So there you go. Abundant Growth. This card basically makes your deck 4 cards less, really, because it cycles when you play it. So that's basically what it does. That and Gitaxian Probe, those kind of cards basically like shorten your deck's life by quite a bit. Because you play it, you draw a card straight away from that, and you add 1 mana of any colour to your mana pool, and it's a 1-cost guy. So it allows me to splash my colours for cheaper, and it draws me a card. I think any deck that runs multiple colours should probably run Abundant Growth. So there you go. Grim Backwards. I only have 1 of these at the moment. I don't know if I'll have. I think 1 is enough. I'm not even sure I'll have this in the final build yet. Add 1 to your mana pool of colourless, or you can pay 4, where 1 of them has to be black, 1 of them has to be green, and you can sacrifice a creature and draw a card. Now that's not that great. However, it is on a land, which isn't terrible. But it has to tap itself as well. It's weird. It basically costs 5 to sacrifice a creature and draw a card. I don't know how well it's going to work in this deck, to be honest, so maybe you can give your opinion on that. That's what I'm kind of hoping, because I'm not sure about it. And it is a rare, and I could probably just use a better rare. And there you go. Altar's Reap. Sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards, add instant speed. Really nice 2-cost card. Really good in this deck as well. Deadly Allure. As soon as I found this card, I knew it had to go in the deck. I had to make room for it. It is so good. First of all, its flashback is green, and its regular is black, which means it fits in the deck perfectly. Second of all, its ability is just great. Target creature gains Death Touch until end of turn, and must be blocked if able. Which means that my young wolf can go straight into your Wolfire Silverheart, as your only guy is blocking, and there's nothing you can do about it, and my guy comes back and yours dies. It's so good. So good. I mean, I was testing this deck, which didn't even have these in, against a very strong mono green, which had Wolfire Silverhearts and Champion of Lambolts and some World Sages and Descendants Paths and other stuff like that, and it was really brutal. So there you go. Grave Purge, instant 3-cost. I get to draw a card and put any amount of creatures from my graveyard onto the top of my deck. It's not bad. Not bad. Thinking about Morbid Plunder. I think that's still legal, but I don't know if I'm going to use that instead. Which is, I get to put any 2 creatures into my hand for 3, but it's double black. But I think I like Grave Purge here because it's at instant speed. It's at instant speed. There you go. Didn't want to fuck up my wording. So yeah, it's really good. And I get to draw a card as well. So you're guaranteed to at least put 1 in your hand. Tragic Slip. Target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn, unless a creature died this turn, in which case it gets -13/-13, which basically kills everything. It just hurts. There's 4 of these. With Morbid in a deck like this, it's going to work really well. So, there you go. Hunger of the Howl pack. Don't know why I didn't have this in the original anyway. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, unless a creature died this turn, in which case you put 3 +1/+1 counters on that target creature. This is going to go really well with Bloodflow Connoisseur. It's going to buff it considerable amount, not considerably. Yet again, more combat tricks if I have it out, because then I can sacrifice to either Altar's Reap or, well, anything really. Anything that lets me sacrifice Bloodflow Connoisseur, them kind of things. There isn't as much sacrifice in it as there used to be, but I still think it works pretty well anyway. And Killing Wave, only having 2 of these now. I had 4 before. I think 2 is enough though. Thanks to the comments and stuff like that. Plus, I actually now own 2 Killing Waves, which is cool, including the promo art one, which actually was my birthday present from a friend. So, big ups to him. For each creature, its controller sacrifices it until he or she pays X life, unless he or she pays X life. So you just keep sacrificing creatures, or you pay X life. It's really good late game. It's really good like at most points of games. If somebody's got a really token heavy deck, they hate this card because it wipes their board most of the time. If they can't afford to pay the conditional cost, they end up with like 1 creature or 2 creatures out. And I'm sacrificing creatures and it's not really mattering to me, because they're coming back most of the time. But there you go. Or if I know I've got this in hand, I can just sacrifice everything to Bloodflow Connoisseur, and then play Killing Wave, and just play the cost for Bloodflow Connoisseur anyway. So, there you go. It's a nice deck. It's a nice card. And then if I feed the pack on the field, and I have a really strong Bloodflow Connoisseur, I can then sacrifice Bloodflow Connoisseur and get a bunch of X tokens. And now they have like very little, and I have quite a lot. Works really well together, like I said. Anyway, I'll just X off these in a second. There we go. Just spamming X, and apparently you can now see what I'm spamming. So there you go. This is the sideboard. What I've got so far. I would prefer to have 4 Deadly Laws and 4 Hunger of the Howl packs in the main, but the thing is that I can't fit them in, and I don't know what to take out for them. So yeah, it's kind of bad for me. Maybe I should take out the Altar's Reap and put them in instead, but then I have less sacrifice. Maybe I should take out the Grave Purge, but yet again I have less getting my creatures back, like Bloodflow Connoisseur, and there's other stuff like that. I just don't know, you know. But anyway, I'll just do these real quick, and I think I can get rid of 1 of them. And 2. Right, reassembling skeleton. We know what this guy does. When he dies, he comes back for 2, back onto the battlefield. Yeah, again, I can just keep sacrificing him if I need to. He's a pretty good chump blocker. Don't know if he'll be in the final build though. He's there at the moment because I can't think of anything better. And yet again, it doesn't matter what I have in my sideboard, because that can add up to anything. I could have 15 Planeswalkers in the sideboard, but when I put them from the sideboard into the deck, deck still can't go over 80 points, which is kind of good. Disciple of Grizzlebrand. I kind of want this guy in the main, but I don't have room for him. I sacrifice a creature for any colour mana, and I gain life equal to sacrifice creature's toughness. I really do wish it said power. Same with like Hunger of the Pack. I wish it said power, not toughness, you know. But it doesn't. But this is a way of sacrificing creatures. It's a way of gaining life as well. I know it doesn't particularly need to gain life, but it's kind of underrated. Especially when I'm going to be very aggro with this deck and attacking a lot more than, well, not, I guess. I'm doing a lot of damage really early on, and I just split one of my sleeves. Oh dear. My Young Wolf sleeve, I'm going to have to replace him in a second, so, because I'm just shuffling my cards. Prey Upon, one of my creatures fights one of your creatures. My creature can come back though. It's good for taking out cards like, well, big threats in the current metagame are like some World Sages and Champion of Lampolts. It's really good at taking them out really early on. It's trying to think of what other cards. Delvers. It's good at taking out Delvers, which are always a fucking pain. Always a pain of Delvers. Not really much to deal with them in this deck, to be honest, except for Strangleroot Geist. I guess Strangleroot Geist is a pretty decent counter. I know, because it can't fly. yeah, there's really very little to take it on except for removal, which is where Prey Upon would come in, because I can remove. And other stuff, it's decent. I don't know about it though. I'm not certain. It's a good green card though. Undying Evil gives one of my creatures undying until end of turn. It's an instant. It's combat tricks. It's pretty good. This card definitely will probably be in the final. Definitely, probably. Pay a green, sacrifice it. It's a rampant growth on sticks. That's what it is. It's a rampant growth on sticks. It's very good. There you go. So that's the deck. I don't know what else I want to put into this deck yet. You know, I would rather it be closer to 80 points. I just don't know what else to put in, and it needs to be cheap. To be honest, I mean, I could put in 3 mythics, and I would still have like room for more cards in the main 60, because I'd be replacing 3 that's already in, and I'd be at 65 at the moment, so that would pump me up to 80 minus whatever I took out. Math, obviously, unless I took out 3 land. But yeah, that's it at the moment. If you guys have any good suggestions, or any suggestions in general, it helped a lot last time. As you can see, it's came a long way since the last video, and I'd like you to leave them. You know, it's going to be really helpful. I really want to win this thing. There's a couple of decks I'm currently threatened by. There's a red-white humans that is actually really good, which is kind of bad for me because I don't want it to be really good. I want my deck to be really good. But yeah, this is looking to be one of the best cheap decks I think I've built in a long time. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys later.